Hi there, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. And I swear, I can just never take a vacation. I'm still in South Korea. I will be for a couple of more days. I have videos scheduled out for y'all, because I was planning on not creating any videos. But here I am. Whenever news like this drops, I am here for you. And you all know that Yuji Horii has loose lips. Years ago, whenever Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake was first announced, he went on and he had a whole hour-long broadcast about that game, and it was supposed to focus just on that. But he has loose lips, and he said, "Hey, you know what? We're also going to be remaking Dragon Quest 1 and 2." And Square Enix was like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. What in the world?" And that we didn't hear anything about that. They were hoping that people forgot that Yuji Horii said that, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to do Dragon Quest 1 and 2," even though those who are paying attention already knew that. Then he went on a podcast 3 months ago where he was asked about the Zenithan trilogy and, why Dragon Quest VII first. And he's like, "Well, we're doing Dragon Quest VII first because, it was done first. We're doing the other ones, but that one was done first." And they were like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. Why did you say that? We haven't announced Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6, but you've pretty much just said that we're doing Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6. And it looks like he has loose lips again, this time in regards to Chrono Trigger. And I definitely do want to tell you all about it. And I think that's worth the sub as you come and you join our party and you level on up with me. With your sub, your like, and your hype, it helps me out a ton. Thank you so much for that as I come to you on vacation. I should be in bed. I should be eating at fancy restaurants or something when I'm sitting here in this hotel room coming to y'all about Chrono Trigger because it's just so exciting. You know what I mean? So we know that Square Enix is doing a restructuring plan. They have been, or they will be doing that for 3 years. It's a 3-year reboot that started in 2025, focused on improving efficiency by consolidating development in Japan and restructuring overseas publishing. So why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because ever since they announced that restructuring plan, they've been doing remake after remake after remake after remake. So last year, after they announced it, we got Visions of Mana, so that must have been in the pipeline for quite some time. Then we got a remake of Romancing Saga 2, which was fan-friggin-tastic. Then we got Dragon Quest III, which we already knew about because of, Yuji Horii. Then we got Fantasian Neo Dimension, a remake of a mobile game. This year comes around, and we get Saga Frontier 2 remastered, just a kind of shadow drop, really, a shadow drop remaster of Saga Frontier 2 for the PS1. Then we got Final Fantasy Tactics remastered as well. They were going back to PlayStation 1, they're remastering that. We got the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes that Yuji Horii so graciously told us about. And we're getting Octopath Traveler 0 in just 2 days, I believe? In just 2 days, we're getting Octopath Traveler 0, which is essentially kind of a remake, reformatting, retooling of Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, their mobile game. So ever since this was announced, they got 4 games last year, 4 games this year. What's being announced next year? We have Dragon Quest VII reimagined, and we have The Adventures of Elliot. After that, nothing is on the plate. So we know that they're doing remakes, and we know that they're doing remasters. But we also know we have a hint of a 3rd game coming out next year, which is Final Fantasy IX. I just came to y'all that Another Eden is doing that Final Fantasy IX collaboration, and it's only a 6-month thing, and it's going to be ending on July 6th. And then they're going to be making a major Final Fantasy IX announcement on July 7th. Which just so happens to be the anniversary of Final Fantasy IX. So, yeah. So that's the 3rd game. They're going to need something for Christmas. What could that possibly be? Well, enter Yuji Horii in Chrono Trigger, because this year is Chrono Trigger's 30th anniversary. So this comes from an article called "You Shouldn't Ask That." Yuji Horii was asked about a Chrono Trigger remake, and he did not deny it, reigniting hope in Japan. So, yeah. All we know about Chrono Trigger so far as with this anniversary is that they've launched various projects, including a brand new album, piano arrangements, a character popularity poll, orchestral concerts, things like that. So it's kind of a little stupid crap about Chrono Trigger, stuff that I don't really care about. All I really care about is the game. But it sounds like they're drumming up hype, They want to go ahead and bring up hype, and they want to have people talking about Chrono Trigger, so whenever they do announce that remake, people will be really excited about it. And there was an interview from Yuji Horii on November the 30th, and he was asked directly on a YouTube discussion program if all the recent Chrono Trigger 30th anniversary projects and events were hinting that a remake is in the works. Horii did not outright deny it, responding with, "I can't say, you shouldn't ask that, and I'll get told off," because he's already gotten in trouble. He's already gotten in trouble for leaking Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and then he already got in trouble for talking about the Zenith trilogy when he's supposed to be talking about Dragon Quest 7, and he's like, "Gosh, don't do this to me." You know, he's saying, "I don't want to get in trouble again." And then immediately after he said that, a publishing executive followed up saying, there is a Chrono Trigger remake. Yeah, so do with that information what you will. It says this has led to Japanese-speaking fans hoping once again that a remake is in the works, despite the fact that Square Enix hasn't made any official announcements. But we all know how Yuji Horii is. We all know that, Yuji Horii has been with the company for years. He is the creator of Dragon Quest. Square Enix would not be where it is, without Yuji Horii. And then he went on to make Chrono Trigger. It was the dream team. It was back when Square and Enix were two entirely separate things, and they kind of joined forces, and they made Chrono Trigger. Now they're one company, and I remember when they became one company back in the early 2000s. I thought to myself, well, this is a great time to make Chrono Trigger. You know what I mean? Now they are one and the same, and they should go ahead and do a lot more Chrono Trigger stuff. We just got Chrono Cross, and we really got nothing else after that. So hopefully, this really is it. You know what I'm saying? They have nothing really going on for next year. We're getting 4 games a year, it seems. We're getting like 1 each season. If we're getting Dragon Quest 7 in February, that'd be the winter. Then we get Elliot in the spring. We get 9 in the summer. And then we would get Chrono Trigger in the fall or winter time. So yeah. So this to me seems like obvious, They're only doing remakes, they're only doing remasters. Well, let's just go through a library, see what's really popular. Oh, here it is. And then they ask Yuji Horii, who cannot keep a secret to save his life, and he pretty much says, yeah, here it is. So now I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this news? Are you as excited about it as I am? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.